Hello, hello, hello. There we go. All right. Whew. I thought the microphone was busted. Whoops. All right. So there we go. We're live. I can see sound, so we should be good to go. I know. Neuro was like, oh, God. Well, Kip grabbed this microphone the other day, and I was like, man, if he breaks another one, I'm going to be so pissed. But it looks like we're working. Hopefully it sounds just as good as it did before. All right. So let's get started for the morning. All right, so interesting Monday morning. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Absolutely horrible number we just got from Empire State. They expected to be a little bit less than it was before, but minus 31 is a monstrous number, right? Like Empire was having all kinds of problems. It was like negative, 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 and it's like last time it's like just a little bit negative, and it's like, whoa, look at that, 11.1. That's awesome. Yeah, right. 11.1, and this time we're like, yeah, it's still positive, but not bad. But then, bam, slammed in with a minus 31.3. So, yeah, not what you really want to see from manufacturing. I mean, everything else is, for the most part, Millie, sit, stop. Everything for the most part was looking, half decent, right? It was like, yeah, this is good, And then all of a sudden that number, and it's like, ooh, that's not as good as what we had expected. Millie, stop. There's no snakes, I promise. I don't know if you guys have dogs, like how they scratch the floor and then spin in circles. It's like it's a I guess genealogy thing. I don't know, instinct thing. I don't know. It's to scratch the ground to make sure there's no snakes. But yeah, no snakes, obviously. But yeah, so absolutely horrible number, right? And again, you may say, well, wait a second, that's really negative. What's going on here? Looking at this, we see the yen getting some strength here, right? Dollar CAD doing well, but again, a lot of this is the oil story. Actually, oil is just taking it on the chops right now because again, you may say, well, this is bad. That's great, right? No, because it's showing you that it's more recession, which lowers overall demand, which basically jacked it to the downside, which again, kind of hurts us over here because CAD loses a lot of strength, which makes the dollar rise. And again, overall, dollar yen, you can see that it's losing strength versus the yen. We're seeing it over here. A little bit of dollar strength over the European pair. So not a whole lot of outliers. So pretty interesting morning. And then again, Waller is speaking later on today. Event added to the calendar. Yeah, so this is coming in, right? A 2022 summer workshop of money, banking, payments, and finance. Right. So again, there could be some interesting crypto messages here, but we'll see what Waller says. Waller kind of has the ability to move the market. And then tonight, monetary policy meeting notes, right? The equivalent of our FOMC notes. But yeah, so we're going to get that tonight with the Aussie. So we'll see where the Aussie ends up pushing itself today. Because again, I think it could push us into an area that is, I'd say more than half decent, right? With everything going on right now, there's a lot of things out there. So, yeah, I think there could be something. All right. And now to kind of like I don't want to say the main story, but like the big story. I don't even know how to put this, right? I don't even know how to kind of mention it without making it sound, I don't know, anti-American. Yeah. So we are continuing to send people to Taiwan, and China is continuing to do more. And again, we know that it's a hot button for China, and Nancy really set them off, and now we are continuing to send more dignitaries there. So at this point, like, I get it. Yes. Yeah, we want equality, freedom, and all that kind of stuff. But again, Taiwan is not the Ukraine. Again, on an international level, it's not. I don't see us going in stopping warlords in South Africa. We are at this point. I'm gonna have to say we are literally poking the bear, right? Or honey badger, whatever the heck you want to call it. But I'm like, you look at this and it's like, why are we continuing to send more people to Taiwan? It's going to piss them off, and we're just doing more and more and more and more of it. And at this point, the message that U.S. aggressors. Well, guess what? I hate to agree with them, but I got to kind of say that, yes, this is kind of a U.S. aggression. The more we send there, then yes, the U.S. is the aggressor. So not exactly sure why we're trying to piss China off. Yeah, no idea. It makes absolutely no sense because I'll tell you right now, if you want to see a supply chain crash, China can do that. Horribly bad. So, and again, it's not just about that. It's just about that, hey, technically, Taiwan is technically theirs, internationally recognized, right? The only countries that recognize Taiwan are ones that do not have basically agreements or anything like that. They are not, in with China, right? They have no agreements, no deals, no nothing, and they're little tiny third world countries. So for us to do that again, I don't know. I think we're playing with fire. So that's obviously kind of affecting the yen right now. We'll see kind of where that continues to go. But at this point, don't be surprised when I'm not going to be surprised if all of a sudden we see a headline that says, they've gone into Taiwan and they're going to say U.S. aggression. The fact that, U.S. is trying to annex part of our territory. We just decided that we needed to fortify our territory from the United States annexing it. And I can't disagree with them, unfortunately. As much as I love to say, yeah, like I'm not a China backer. I think China does many, many horrible things. But in this case, I feel like on paper that, yeah, it's technically theirs, right? It's technically theirs. So that's going to be the big thing this week. And again, you can see there's more things up here, right, about China than there is about the Ukraine. And the Ukraine is still happening. Yeah. And besides over the weekend, that's about it. It's just, that's kind of everything wrapped into one. So again, there's our news for today. There's what's hot. Tomorrow morning, we do have some big data coming out. CAD CPI expected to be, again, we know the previous, they're not giving forecasts on it. Not all central banks do that. But again, remember, Canada really puts out their common, their medium, their trimmed, with coffee, with maple syrup, with ketchup. That's how they do their CPI. So that could be a nice little mover, especially because we've had so much CAD weakness right now. Right? Huge CAD weakness today. Is some of this today kind of preparing tomorrow for a big CPI number? All right. Then we also see the wage price. And again, this is kind of our average hourly earnings. It's very similar, expected to get higher, which again, good for the Aussie. And then tomorrow night, we see another 0.5 raise in New Zealand. So that's going to be kind of cool. But one of the other things I want to point out that in doing the newsletter this week, look at this. The forecast for the pound. And we already know what's going on with the pound. They're already saying recession. Yep, we got to do this. Look at this. They're 6 raises in. Increasing again, and look at this, 9.9, right? Man, can they break the 10% figure? And again, we're kind of right behind them, so everybody's cheering. But again, we're continuing to see it rise in the UK. It's like, oh. So yeah, and then we have FOMC. So Wednesday is going to be a kind of a blockbuster today. So today should be pretty decent. Again, tomorrow some nice little things in there as well. And again, I think a lot of this is going to be headlines, and yeah, don't be surprised if I don't know. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if anything, you start to see China sending weapons to Russia or something like that, right? Right. If they start sending anti-missile systems or something like that, I'm not going to be surprised. Be like, well, they're considered one of our allies, and we're going to send to them. And what are they going to do? Say that's it. We're not going to take anything from China anymore. It's like, good luck. There goes our economy. So yeah, fun. Right, lots going on. All right, so let's go through and let's talk about the VIX. You may say, what the heck is going on? Why is the VIX up 8%? Well, because we're in the piss off China mode right now, right? This is exactly why. And they're doing more drills, and obviously that's going to send the VIX higher, right? Right? And what does it say? With China's economy falling unstoppably downhill, the only alternative is to be incompetent leader. It's hard to say that China's leadership is incompetent. Yeah, they have a big population, but it's very, very difficult to say that they're incompetent when they are literally the driving factor for what's next in the world. So kind of hard to say that they are incompetent. And again, incompetent compared to who? Yeah. So anyway, that set us off. The dollar obviously rallying back up again, coming back up to levels of sellers. So we have seen a little bit of a reversal. And again, that's at 5:30 kind of reversal time frame in the European session. We're kind of seeing that bounce back again, but with the VIX spiked, everything is kind of more or less in the red. The big ones are obviously the commodities heading straight down, and again, a lot of that is demand focused. So here's the Aussie dollar. So from the drawings last week, and again, I did not get the ability to kind of look at this weekend. I was in Ocean City for tournaments all day on Saturday, and then yesterday I had like kind of a final tryout for like personal friends and stuff like that. So I've been swamped. I haven't gotten to look at these charts really at all. But here's the level from last week that we had talked about. The date on Friday was the 12th. And again, I wasn't here right on the 12th because I was at chemo. Here's the level on the 11th, right? The 11th at 9:30. This is exactly where we were 2 days ago. And then you can see about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, we hit it on the 12th on Friday, and then hit it pretty much I guess, close the business. We kind of closed there, and then what do? We opened up there this weekend, and all it's done is really it's just pulled back again. And we mentioned that we talked about a level here, and again we pulled back and then sliced through it at 23. And again, over the weekend, these tend not to be as big. But you can see we're pushing down to the 50 right now. And we had this profit target down here at 69.85. And I think right now, again, we're chopping back and forth. We're kind of seeing where everything's kind of pushing in. It's like, all right, is it going to be strong dollar? Is it going to be weak dollar? You know, what do we got here, right? I think right now, again, we're seeing some chop really from that 6 o'clock window. There's a little bit of a battle going back and forth. I'd really like to see this come down and whether grab the 61.8 or at least bounce and come through somewhere in this level, right? I'll pull it across so it's easier to see. But the 69.85 range, we're kind of in a racetrack. So, I mean, it's stopping right here is really kind of profit taking after this big fall from late last night down. And then you can see it's battling back and forth and the wicks are getting bad. But again, the data doesn't necessarily justify it today, any type of additional movement, right? Because again, this is a horrible empire state. But with all the stuff with China going on, it's kind of like, oh God, we need to have a flight to safety, right? So that tends to bring some strength back into the dollar. And again, U.S. session, we tend to see it more often, right? You know, it's just one of those things. You tend to see more dollar strength as the U.S. session rolls open. So I think we come down and then we look for a balance. If we can get a decent base anywhere down here, and again, I think the 61.8 could be a big trigger on this one. Look for it to kind of stabilize itself back up again. But right now, again, everything is very kind of dollar strength, yen strength is kind of what we're seeing across the board. Now, Aussie yen, again, much more deterioration. Unfortunately, we didn't get up. You know, this is where we were. Really, kind of this is where the gap was. And again, the 12th we closed here, and then boom, we pulled right back up into that same level. So it was a very, it was close. I want to say it's close. We were 25 pips away. There was the gap down, right? I wouldn't say, actually, this one really didn't gap per se. I mean, it closed here and opened, so not really much of a gap, but it was kind of pushing down. It was a red, green, red, and it did pull back. Again, if you were really aggressive on this one, and I'll draw it for you guys, you know, if there's obviously the basing, whoops, too much. There to there. Right, that box is in the red candle right there. You can see there was kind of the gap, and it did pull back again. It wasn't like a true gap because it didn't really gap much, but again, the Sunday open, and then just obviously can deteriorate it off again, right? And a lot of that is also with the Aussie. So we ended up missing the entry on it. You could have got another one. We talked about a level coming down and basing in here that there's a potential short. Right now, that's kind of where we're starting to do our base. And again, we're always looking for near-term shorts. If you throw some fibs on this, and again, I'll just do it from the high because it's pretty much right there. You can see that we have some levels, particularly the 61.8. If this is the bottom, I think the 61.8 should be a decent kind of level. It is a base, and it's one of those ones where it's like, hey, listen, let's mark that off now. That could be something a little bit later in the week that we're looking for. And obviously, there's another hiccup. If we push down just a little bit further, that 50 becomes in range. And you can see when I drug that down, it drug it right to this level. So again, forecasting, if we push all the way down, if we're able to get enough kind of yen strength down, and we turn here, which again is a great level, I do like this level, all of a sudden, this now becomes the 50 where we saw that last little pullback. So again, I think that's pretty decent. Actually, let me put one of these logos here. Let's put this there. Turn that green for you guys for later on in the week. But right now, all right, like I said, right now you can see the 618. So if this is truly the bottom, we see reversal, you're good. But we were calling for a break below 93.20 as an area where we were looking to get some selling in. And we're kind of in a racetrack, so there's technically, I mean, if we can get the nice little bounce in here, I'd like to continue this short. I have a very hard time saying go short right now because since last night, it's, you know, let's see. From where we opened right here, right? We opened right there. We're 160 pips down. So do you want to get into a short after a 160 pip movement to the downside? Typically not so much, right? Typically not so much. So yeah, there's that. Trying to think what else we can do with this one right now. Yeah, there's not much more we can do with it right now. Like I said, we're seeing the pullback into that level again, and that's where we talked about was getting that base in that level down here, and we're starting to get that base. So, you know, I would say if anything, yeah, I continue to maintain short. It's kind of all we can do with it right now, right? There's just not enough. There's just not enough setup on this one right now. There's just too much movement in the overnight. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, we ended up coming up and grabbing the zone on the 11th, the 12th, which again, the 12th was Friday, right? We weren't here, but on the 11th at 9 o'clock, that's where we were when we hit that level, right? This is where we were on Thursday's chart session. Came down, and again, we marked this. Look at this base. Look at this. This is all late in the afternoon. This was on the 12th at European session. Base, base, base. There was a pullback in it. We talked about overtaking it. Again, all the way down. Here's where the profit target was. And you can see that not only did it hit it, it based, pulled back, and then continued to go lower. And there was profit target number 2, which we just went through in the morning, and now we're basing and kind of just below it right now. So overall, what I would say is watch out for this 50 percentile mark. We are pulling back a little bit. And if you wanted to run from fibs from Thursday's high down, you can see we kind of got a little shy with it. And right around where this last pullback was, the old 23.6 that we kind of bounced back and forth with, there is probably something going on right there. And again, it's a little bit front running the 50. I'm kind of wondering if we can pull down just a little bit more. Do you see how this 50 right here, if we can pull down to this 50 mark, all of a sudden this 50 lines up over here. So kind of looking for a pullback. And again, I don't really love this zone down here at the 50. There was a test off of it, but it's kind of a bigger-ish zone. So right now, kind of looking for that pop down, but as you can see, this profit target smash, this profit target smash, that short from before was there. Again, this old level, again, you can see that it bounced here, it bounced there, and then pulled up right underneath and then continued to push through. So, I mean, that one was a valid zone as well. A lot of these old ones that, again, we don't necessarily need, all right? So right now, setting up for the next kind of position, I'd say look for some type of something around this 101.61 level. Again, it got pushed through. There's an inertial zone. It was tested, pushed through, tested, and then again tested again. It is a 50 percentile, pullback. So watch it, and if it does come down that low, all of a sudden from the most immediate high to low, again, if we come down there, that'll be that 50 just pop right up into that level here. So I think there could be some potential selling at 102.60. All right. All right, euro pound. So euro pound, we ended up we missed the 85. And again, this is on the 12th. We were sitting on the 11th. We were right here. And we talked about, again, it'd been through there. Let's see what we can do. And it did. It skyrocketed up. We missed the entry at 85. We talked about 85 being big. It missed it by 7 pips. It's like, that's going to happen. As you can see, this probably stopped out some traders. Right? Came back and started the base and level. And what did it do? We knew we had basing here. We knew we had a test here. So artificially drawing like a Harry Potter trade in here. Look, dink, 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 boom, and it popped through it. So right now, I'd say that, again, looking if you guys are short, I would say look for probably buying to come in right down here at 84.17. Millie, stop. There's no snakes. I would say, look, again, if you are short, this is profit taking, right? We do know we have a level of basing. It came down, and here, I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it. It did come down, it did base, and it did pop. And as you can see, this dark line is our target. There's a 50% retracement level right below it. So right now, I would say that this one is probably due to fall about another 20 pips. We are kind of running out of time for the end of the day, so only so much more that you could actually do with it, right? It's not an unlimited type, hey, listen, this is going to be great forever. It's not like one of those things. So, as much as I would love to say, hey, listen, this is just keep taking it. Just keep taking it. It's not a just keep taking it type scenario. All right. Hold on one sec. Hold on. I had to pop up on another thing. Just want to make sure it's not. No, that's okay. All right, good. Just like, oh God, what is that? All right, we're good. So look for a turn and reversal potential down here. We still have a Harry Potter at 84.04. Again, with that pound CPI data coming in later this week, again, it's interesting to see this coming down. I think Wednesday could be a very interesting position. I'd like to see where we're at. I'd like to see where we've based and things. I'd like to see this all this kind of pound strength right now is really setting this up for some type of reversal. So we do have a level, the 84.04 made the zone, and again, has barely been touched. When we get where is it? Is this it right here? Yeah, the core inflation. This could be a potential right here, right? If we can push down, grind down to here, and be like over here, and again, we have a data for this one. This could be an interesting little pop right there. Oops. Let's just turn that back black. Right there. So And again, this would be pound weakness, and it would be probably something along those lines. But I think, you know, again, this drives down. It is a level. It is tested twice. I do, you know, again, 9.9 is even if it comes in as expected. 9.9 is just horrible, right? It's horrible. Again, could it bring in pound strength? Sure, it could. But I think the recessionary fears, like, yes, inflation is running away, but they're already in a recession. If they raise any more, it drives them deeper into a recession. At some point, they have to weigh this and be like, the recession can lower this down, or like, what do we, what are we looking like? Do we need to slow down a little bit before we put ourselves deep in a recession? Not that 10 is great, but they did say it would take some time for this whole thing to kind of unfold. So again, if we drive down, could be an opportunity. If we start to see this drive back up again and we push back up into here, we also could see this. You know, we could see that as well with a mass. You know, if this comes in at 10.1 or 10.2, we could see a big smash down. So again, we got to see which direction we head in. I think honestly it could go in either direction. I think up is probably a little bit harder of a run. We're a little bit closer to the downside, but we do have a day and a half to get there. So some interesting kind of news setups for this one. Euro yen. Okay. So euro yen. Let's see. As you can see, both profit targets are smashed. There's one. There's two. That profit target is out. We don't need that anymore. Let's pull this. Let's pull this. Let's pull that off. Let's pull that. Actually, where are we? Let's see. Let's put it here, up. Yeah, you can see we're going up to 61 right now. So 61. There is a zone sitting there. Okay. And again, profit target at 135. We're out on that one, so we don't need that anymore. So much basing sideways. Big question is, can we hold here for another 30 minutes? This one has a little bit of backstopping. Right below this zone, this one. First off, it's going to be 135, which is a big number. There is a little hiccup here and a test right below that zone as well. That is what we're looking at. Oh, there is a 23 there too. So looking at that little hiccup going, it's an interesting little 3-candle base. Could that be something there? Right? And then you throw some fibs on it from like again, it's really the high from before, right? It's really the high to here. And you can see it smashes right in there at the 23.6. But then I was also thinking, wait a second, what about if we take the overnight just from purely this week? And you can see that literally the 50 bisects right through the center of that area. Like kind of right in there. Right? So it's a 50. If you take high to low, right, you can see that it's the 20. It's right at the 23. So that's an interesting level. I'd say, watch that there. And again, there's numerous reasons why. If for some chance, if we're able to kind of rally back up again, I think that's probably a half decent trade right there. And all it is a continuation. Right there, which again, that's exactly, if it rallies right back up again, that's exactly where your profit target should be. So not a bad, not a horrible little setup there, right? I think it's, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. All right, let's see. Let's go pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar. We were looking for a couple drops in this one, right? And we got a couple drops in it, right? Hold on one sec. Let's see. I had notes on this one. All right. So again, early morning on Friday, we talked about this level, and we look at this. Look at all the basing in here. We hit it again, we hit it, we base. Finally dropped through, and then kind of did one candle base and grabbed it. Whether you guys got it, I don't know. We talked about the old level at 50, and you can see 50 did the same thing. Hit it, and again, continue to fall lower. So we can pull the 50 off. We actually don't need this fib anymore because, again, once we hit the 786 for me, I am out. We pulled that off. Maybe we'll pull that one off too. Again, this way we're just looking for a target on it. Let's draw this to... I'm going to put a level there, but that's a little bit big risk on that one. And push it pretty deep. There's a zone right there. I'm going to mark this off, but I don't know. Yeah, it's got a bunch of testing in there. Problem is, look at this. 1, 2, 3. This is 4. Drove in pretty deep and then kind of gave us a pop. Problem with the 2 is running your fibs high to low. It's also the 23, right? It's getting extra selling pressure. Again, there's your whoops. You can see it's getting the extra pressure. The decent sell. I would say right now, yeah, if you're already short from that level, again, it's a decent level. You're not going to have, let's see, how much is it? It's 40 pips. I mean, it's a decent runner to the downside. Again, seeing that U.S. strength come back into the market, we are seeing kind of the, again, from really the 530 reversal this morning, we're seeing dollar weakness, and now you can see that it's starting to battle back again. Again, I think continuation-wise, I like this one bearish. But what it's already a little bit into the trade, so it's a little bit harder to say, hey, listen, time to go short. Now you're already a little bit deep in there, so it's like one of those ones. It's like, oh, do we want to take it from here? It's like, no, we can't really. So, just watch it. I think this one's a little sloppier. And same thing. I think what's important about this pair right now is right there. Kind of seeing where the news brings us to. So, but I do like this level up top. I think that's a decent level. And again, where if this is the bottom where it pushes a little bit lower, we're within the 50 to 60, 61.8. So there will be people looking at that level, and it's a decent level, right? You can see base, pull back, and finally broke it, pulled back, and then took off. So I like that one for later on. I think that's a level we look for is 121.68. Again, up top, that hasn't really changed. 122.57. I think 2 areas where there's potential shorts. Longs coming in, I have a hard time with this level because it's pushed all the way to the brink. As well as this one was tested a few times. Would have been a kind of a decent buy. But again, 530 reversal into that. Again, if you guys are, there's yet another example. And I will say I did not get any recording done, so I did not this weekend, so I did not get to finish anything, guys. Just FYI, but this would be yet another example of, again, what 530, 1030 reversals look like. Oh, why is Kip crying? I hear Melissa moving and Kip is crying. She didn't open my door, so I guess it was not me. I'm trying to figure out if she's coming here. She's walking past the door. It's like, are you trying to come to me? I don't know. Nope, looks like she's not. Doesn't need me. All right, sorry. She doesn't have any calls this morning, but sometimes they get thrown on there. All right, pound yen. All right, so pound yen, look at this. We pulled back. We talked about this on Friday or on Thursday. Pulled right back up, and look at the chop through. Chop. Grabbed the 61.8, and then boom, came through, tested. And again, this happened at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. And then deteriorated, dropped, and then just has pushed lower. We talked about all the basing level down here. There's all your basing that we talked about. And what did it do? It based, went down, pulled back, and grabbed that same level and went lower, right? So we will take this guy off. We'll take him off. Now we got to bring this down. And look at that, right at the 61.8. Actually, we're going to adjust this just a bit. I'm going to bring it here because I do actually like that zone. Look at this. Old boom, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4 went through. Never got the entry down. But look at that as far as basing right at a 50. So again, 2 potential levels there and there. If we pull back up again, this base through. Again, talked about the Harry Potter trade. I think it's out at this point. Nope, so close. Not out yet, right? Not out yet. And really, this is where we talked about. We were looking like, hey, listen, we need a new level. There's kind of your new level. Or, I mean, you could have done down here. Either one. There or to this one. Doesn't really matter. Again, we were talking about getting short either way. Again, 330 popped that right up into a level. Here's the open. Pop it right up and right to the downside. It's actually a pretty decent. It's actually well past it. You're 1 of 3. Did not trade this one this morning. Right there. So you would have been out, and this one's almost out. Right? This one needs to go just a little bit farther. So. And I would say look for 160 to be an area where there's a potential reversal in this one. We know that 60 is a big psychological level. If you wanted to box this off below, you can say that, hey, listen, there's a zone here. Look at that. It took off out of there. Sure, it did. Did they go all the way up? I only went to 618, so we got to leave it. I would say overall, target-wise to the downside, if you're really looking, again, I think 160 is going to be a big deal. But again, if it backstops by 30 pips, that's not necessarily unheard of with the pound yen. Would be 159.70. So again, profit target sitting right here, 160 psychological level, and then somewhere if we can get a base down in this level, is where we can kind of look for the the potential reversal aspect of it. All right. Gotta love that coffee on Monday morning. Gotta love it, right? Let's see. All right, dollar CAD. So you can see dollar CAD exploding. All right, really since 3 o'clock this morning, it has just skyrocketed up. It's actually filled this the old area, and again, this was not another short, right? It pushed it all the way in, so it's already out. It did go up and tag the 78, so again, we're not really concerned about the 78. Let's see. We talked about this pushing. You can see, look at this. Boom. We can remove it now. We don't need it now because, again, trade is over. Let's bracket this bad boy off again. We know we got 2 levels here up top. Bottom-wise, I'm going to mark that because that's a decent bottom. It tried twice. Yeah, we're running into all this right now. Kip's unhappy. I can hear Kip. He's doing his whining. I would almost say on this one, again, we are hitting an area we had some basing and then kind of pushed. It wasn't a monstrous move. This has moved up so much. European session was here, 3 o'clock. It's 130 pips, right? 130 pips. Daily ATR is only 96. So not quite 1.5, but really, really close. Really, really close to 1.5 a daily ATR. Again, oil's starting to come back a little bit. It's only down 4.7%. I like the basing here. I would say if we can get a red, green, red in here, or maybe if you really want to use some type of a base level, I would say that there's probably the base level you want to use. I think this is one of those cases. We know it's going off a level. It's not the highest quality of zones, but if we could get a red, a green, and again, that full confirmation color change on it, a red, green, red, I think you look at this one to kind of, from there to there, right? And again, a 1 to 3 only looks like that. I mean, it's halfway through the retracement today, right? It's not really that big. What this one would look like is a push down to 28.40, right? It's about 80 pips to the downside. Risk on this one is about 17 pips, a little bit more than we'd like. But as oil comes back up again, CAD should get some strength with CAD CPI. I think that's probably a decent roll. Let's put it here. Let's put this one red, and let's put it right there. And again, Strong push forward. There's almost no wicks to the downside. It was really one directional. We had a level of base and we came up. And again, we knew we had something there. And look at it. It's basing. It's 1030. It's 1010 right now, actually. We're basing, you know. So again, continued dollar strength. Now, if you start to roll a little bit, and again, this one's probably not so much dollar strength. This one's probably more CAD weakness because of, obviously, because of oil. So, yeah. Kind of, you know. Kind of into this one, right? Kind of into this one. Yeah, break a 128.94 all the way down. Again, 50 pips, but you don't need to hold it for a full 50. That's just what the 1 to 3 is based off of the risk. And we could probably even shrink this a little bit. If you wanted to shrink it there, that lowers the risk down to about 15, 14. And again, 14 is great. That brings you down here. Yeah, you're taking about 45 pips in the other direction. 41 pips, actually. Let's see. Yeah, 45 is right there. So not a horrible position, right? Kind of into that one. Dollar Swiss. Chop, 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 chop. So here's what we talked about on last Thursday. We ended up tagging this 1030. And again, would you taking this for 1030 reversal? I mean, there's your 1030. Did it move massive amounts? It moved about 20 pips. So, yeah, it reversed. I mean, it literally went straight up from really, I mean, it's basically the 10 up, right? And then 1030, it turned and rolled. So, I wouldn't say that this was trending. Wasn't really a candidate for reversal. It was the peak that day and then pushed it back down again. But look at this. Really, since noon on Thursday, base. One pop, straight back down again. And by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it based and then pulled back up. And we're still kind of in that same level. So, you know, decent reversal. I wouldn't be looking for much on this one until we get probably up into that range. If you're really looking for short, right? And that's an old level there. We'll pull that. And even right now, I mean, even for a 1030 reversal now, there's nothing, right? We're literally just pulling back inside of the same range. Yeah. I mean, what is this one right now? 39 pips. I don't really love this one. I like this one a lot more last week. So I really like to see it get a new direction. But again, strong drop here. If you guys are looking for something around that level, again, not a lot of Swiss data, and really not a ton of US data, but 94.81 would be top side. And then again, bottom side on this one, we're still at that 37. What are we at? Yep, 37.77, right? Kind of where we are bottom side. Okay. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, you can see we never got a pullback, went all the way up to the profit target and then came back down again and then it started basing in it. So unfortunately, we never got the qualification for a Harry Potter trade. It did hit it at like 5 o'clock in the morning too. It was kind of a weird time on Friday. So never got the entry up and all it did was grab the 61.8 and then kind of roll back down again. And then started the base in there again, had some problems and then pushed lower. And we talked about if we could get a break below this 32.53. We did not get it. So I'm leaving it on there right now. Actually, let's just steal this one and we're going to put it up top. And again, that's still holding that 61.8 level. I would say right now, these are kind of the two trades that I'm looking at. I like how it based, and I like how at 9 o'clock it started to rally up again. If we push through this 132.53, I think that could be a decent short, pushing it back down to like a 131.64-ish. I was really hoping that this would continue to drive up or down. Like if we got back up to 135, I was going to be looking to take this short for the week. Right now, again, all it did was it kind of continued its push down lower, and now it's kind of pushing back. We're kind of in the middle of the range here. So not really my favorite position for a week long. I was really, really hoping we could get a week long position here, but the reality is just it's not there. It's not there. So two levels I'd watch out for up here at 133.71. I'd like to see it hit at one of these big U.S. news-based data points. I think that would make a lot of sense. And then again, if we start to falter in here and fold back down again, a break of 132.56, I think takes us back down to probably here, 131.90 is where you're looking to kind of take profit. So with the break, it's about 60 pips to the downside. Do I draw it straight as Harry Potter? We got the base, put it this way. The base is there. It would look something along these lines right here. 1 to 3 is just right there. So I mean, that's above the target. I mean, that puts us like right there. A little bit deep, little tiny bit deep by like. Let's see, how deep is it? 5 pips. So Profit target's a little tiny bit deep, but not the worst trade, right? Not the worst trade at all. Let's see. One sec, guys. What does she want? Sorry, Melissa just messaged me again. I'm just trying to make sure that it's not like, Kip did this. Like, what did Kip do this time? Okay, not important. All right, sorry about that. All right, cryptos. Obviously, a little bit of movement. Very spiky, right? Very spiky back and forth. Again, Waller may speak today and mention something about crypto. I do know that there was a lot of talk. I heard it from a few different people this weekend about, the regulation needed with it. The amount of, I guess, lack of accountability that people are able to jack things around, and there's been no repercussions for it. I think it's getting more and more kind of in the spotlight. Basically, what they were saying was, what I heard this weekend about cryptos in general, and again, Bitcoin similar, again, the same type of spikes in Ethereum, the same types of spikes here. What they're talking about is the amount of people that were ripped off by fake coins and other coins. This was a new one, and they were talking about social media influencers and streamers hyping up and getting paid and not disclosing what they were getting paid from these smaller crypto companies. And it was a very interesting article. Some of the guys were like, "Yeah, I don't do it anymore. I can make $30,000 a day doing it. With the amount of views I have." But one of them, I forget which one it was that they talked about. He's like, it's lost 99 or 99.6% of its value, since I hyped it up. And they were like, "Do you feel bad about that?" Or we're like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, nobody knows what it's going to do." And and they're like, "Did you get paid for that?" They're like, "Yeah, I got paid for it, but like I actually, I believe that everything that I believed was was going to happen, was going to be great, right? But obviously that didn't happen. I was wrong." And they were like, "Well, people lost all their investment." So it's definitely coming into light that influencers are getting paid, and influencers have no idea what they're talking about, right? Because they're just paid endorsements, and there are no laws right now that says you have to disclose that you are a paid. That's a paid endorsement for cryptocurrencies because they are not necessarily regulated at all. So it's on the way. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds and see if Waller says anything about it. But this realm is going to get real or interesting very, very soon. So looking across at oil. So oil, again, we talked about this level last week. Again, on the 12th, right? 5:30 reversal in the morning. We talked about this level at the 50%, right? We had mentioned it off and it went just slightly higher. It came back and grabbed it, but 94.38, boom, punched all the way back down. We talked about a Harry Potter trade breaking through 91. As you can see, at 10:30 in the morning, got a little bit of a reversal, right? It popped. It hit it again here. I'll move this other way so you can see it. It popped. It popped again. It popped again. And then what did it do? It dropped. And then again on the 15th at 3 o'clock in the morning for the European session, boom, through the floor. So again, had you been trading that Harry Potter, we need a base and a pullback, and there you go. Okay, the entire move was a 1 to 9, so monstrous move. 1 to 3 is only sitting right there. I mean, we just it just absolutely smashed through it. I actually thought we'd get more buying here and ended up basing in there and going lower, but again, it went all the way down, and I'm just pushing these across. We talked about 87.52 or 87.50 would be an area. It ended up pushing deep in there. Yeah, it went right in the middle of that zone. So not surprised. And again, this is a demand thing, right? Having horrible demand, right? Having horrible demand will absolutely do this. Let's pull some of these off. I don't need them anymore. I just want to keep this as fresh as possible. Don't need that one there. I'll pull that across. We're going to hold those. I don't think there's anything back here. No. All right, so where we are right now. Kind of my thinking on this one right now is, again, UK driving more into a recession, inflation going higher. I think that it's a very, very hard demand story to talk about because, again, recession does drive this down. Obviously, talking about war with China obviously affects this as well. China is not the third world country that it used to be. Again, is China cool with paying, 25% off, or even maybe more? Maybe it's 50% off the price, right? I don't know, maybe they're only spending $50 per barrel, right? In black market, conditions with, with China or with Russia. Put it this way, China's not going to stop buying oil from Russia. And if they can get it for, 25% off, 30% off, 40% off, and do black market deals with tankers, they're doing it. They're not going to stop. And man, you want to talk about a competitive disadvantage? If they're spending $50 per barrel, right? And the rest of the world is paying 90, who has the competitive advantage there? Yeah. And trust me, Putin will lock that source down right away. I want to say on a purely technical basis, we're in an area to go long, right? Problem what I have with the zone is it's been tagged here, been tagged here, been tagged here, been tagged here. We have, I believe it's another month and a half. It's either a month and a half. I think the strategic reserve stuff goes away. It's either like the end of September or like the first week of October is when the strategic oil reserve selling stops. But here's the but. Okay. It does need to be replaced because that's why it is called the strategic oil reserve. And the question is when they start replenishing it, that should also drive the demand of this higher because they're like, oh, the government's buying it. Hey, let's jack those prices. So remember, a lot of the strategic reserve was filled when this was much, much lower, right? Now that it's up at $90, once we stop selling it and then it needs to be purchased to replenish it again, I think that's a big, again, we know that demand is back to pre-COVID levels. So I want to say, again, on a technical level and kind of fundamental, I just don't think we're quite there yet. We're a little bit too far out, but that's something to keep on your radar. As we get closer and closer to where we need to start, replenishing the strategic oil reserve, I think that's a big buying factor, particularly if we're not going to go in as deep as a recession as what we thought, right? The UK obviously is. They're going deep, right? But question is if we can maintain and not go that deep. Yeah, so I don't know, take it for what it's worth. It's a level that I'm kind of, again, we talked about buying down here. It has hit it a few times, so I'd be a little bit more cautious with it. It is outside of a daily ATR range, though, being down 4.6%. And again, as it's rallying back up, you're seeing that number start to dwindle. I think they're, again, obviously profit taking. So again, for me right now, I would say that this is probably more long feeling. Can we go all the way back up? I don't know. Actually, let's see. Where is it? Let's see. Where's the 23? Yeah, look at that. You can see the 50 is right back up to that old. The 50 is literally right there on top of that old selling level. So I think, again, if we're able to push up the 91.12, I think you start looking to sell this again. Again, it's kind of redoing this parabolic move. I think we have the ability to creep up. But again, manufacturing today, just this manufacturing number not helping. Wait, what the heck is this? Wow. So this just shows you guys how much big news there is. Prince Harry's underwear from Naked Las Vegas Party scores $250,000 bid. I'm telling you, there's weirdos everywhere, right? Weirdos everywhere. But yeah, I want to know if it's a naked Las Vegas Party. Why did he have underwear on, right? I mean, it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I think this goes higher. Natural gas. So natural gas. Here was a position from over the weekend. I know, Debbie, right? It's just so weird. It's like, what? People are spending $250,000 on underwear? Like, I'm in the wrong business, right? Right? I mean, again, I'm not Prince Harry, but I just feel like, I feel like we're in the wrong business, right? It's crazy. Crazy. Not sure how they prove it's his, but it's probably monogrammed, Neuro. That's easy. That I have an answer to that one. I mean, come on. How can you be the prince without having monogrammed drawers, right? Like, there's probably like a stamp of approval, right? Right? There's got to be like a royal seal, right? Got to be a royal seal on those bad boys, right? I know. Debbie's like, what? So anyway, natural gas. Again, we've seen some selling. We know that we have a couple levels in here for this to push back down to. But there was the gap. It literally, a gap lower came up, formed a new base, and again, confirmed itself right there. So at about 8 o'clock this morning, there was a short. We're out of the position right now. But yeah, I know. You don't have monogame drawers? Come on, Neuro. I know you do, right? All cool people have them. Um, so really, in this one, the trade is done right now. We didn't actually hear a lot of data this week about, again, really, this is more of a Russia play. And you can see there was almost literally nothing. I did see an article like, oh, we blew up 17 more tanks today. Right. Total, we've killed 40,000 people. And it's funny. The United States is not like, no, 73,000 Russians have been killed in the Ukraine occupation. And then the Ukraine's like, we've killed 40,000 Russians. It's like, well, where's the extra 30 coming from? So unfortunately, a lot of the data, things like that are off. Did they blow up 17 tanks? I don't know. Maybe, what are they saying? They're saying that I think total they've blown up 1,800 tanks is what they said, but I think, when you look at the grand scheme, were they all big tanks? Were they retrofitted tanks? Were they new tanks? Like, I don't know. At what cost? Like, I feel like how many billions have we spent versus how many billions have we blown up? Like, at what point are people going to look at this and say, well, wait a second, the United States spent $10 billion and we blew up, $2 billion or $3 billion worth of stuff? Like, is the did we change anything? And is the 3-to-1 difference in there of what we spent to not spent? Like, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I believe that one day they will analyze the financials of this one. And again, I don't believe data from either side. So I believe there's propaganda on both sides. Anyway, natural gas, there's really nothing for me today. I'd wait for this one to kind of, reestablish new levels. And again, here's a decent basing top, and there's a confirmation there. So next time we get back up into this, $8.90, I think, again, I think probably an area where we can short off of. Other side of that one, again, we have levels all the way down here. Again, this short was in and out. We're done with it. Two small levels here. If we've run low to high fib-wise, just to kind of see if there's anything in there hidden. Yeah, it's this one right here. Right. That's kind of, if you are short still, again, it was a level we already had marked. I would just extended it across. I would say look to get some profit a little bit early at 8:30. Right. I will say I don't think the natural gas story is over. I think that starts to heat up rather soon. Yeah, and I know today, right now it's 71 degrees outside. I should open up all the windows, but the high is only supposed to be like 77 in Maryland today. So it's August. I'm not complaining about this at all. I think this is awesome, right? I am totally cool rolling into, I'm totally cool the middle of August and having fall type weather. I'm cool with 77 degrees. I think that is great. We've had 90s to, mid 90s, for so long with 90% humidity. It's like Louisiana here. I'm cool with 70, 77, 78 degrees. I think it's great. So, yeah, sign me up. I pick colleges based off of where they were in regards to the Mason-Dixon line. I was like, got scholarship money to go north, but I was like, is it above the Mason-Dixon line? Nope, gets too cold. Couple schools in Upper Pennsylvania, I was like, nope, it gets cold there, right? They're like, oh yeah, winters get real cold. Do you like the cold? I'm like, nope, not interested. So they're like, but you can be on the team. I'm like, nope, not interested. not that important. But now I'm like, man, I feel like as I'm getting older, it's like I want to go to where there's cold, right? I don't know about Upper Peninsula cold. Sean, sorry. I don't know about that cold, but not Maine cold where it's like snow flurries and the second week of September. But yeah. But anyway, I think natural gas, guys, is going to come back around. I think this one has some important, again, geopolitical things coming into it. Gold, obviously, taking it on the chops, and again, it's kind of like, oh, recession. We talked about 1,800 last week, so again, end of the trading day for the week, and then we opened, again, we opened at 18. Talked about if we were able to grind back up again, you can see, look at this, smash through it, hit it, and then over the weekend, straight back down again, and we literally went all the way back down to the 23.6 level that we had talked about last week on Thursday, and we're basing through. So again, seeing everything with gold, I would say that it's hard to trade this one right now because literally the trade came in late last night from the, we talked about how 1,800 is such an important figure. And again, putting out forecasts of the UK at 9.9, it's like, woo, can they break that 10 mark? Trade is done right now. I would say I wouldn't be surprised. This 23 has taken some heat. We've hit it again. We're driving down into it lower. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised at the 1775 level or 76 level, right where we are right now, is the catalyst. If we start basing in here, I do think we can have a push back down, probably to like the 17. probably in here, probably the 1760s right there. People in the South are going to Phoenix and Vegas. Wow, it's 130. Yeah, it's a dry heat, Briggs. Dry heat. Not so much anymore, but yes, it's a dry heat. Because like that makes any difference in the world, right? Yeah, we can still cook an egg on your car. It's not fun. So yeah, I would say, unfortunately, guys, I think this one is deep, a little bit far. Silver's doing the same thing. Here's that same level. I'll bring it across. You can see we based in it again, and it was that same reversal last night. Once we got the red, green, red, it just continued to collapse. Red, green, red came in a little bit deep. It came in down here, right? But it's always hard, when you're looking for that reversal. We knew it was there. 21 we were looking for is the big number. And we're pushing back down to the 20 level. And here, I'll extend this across. There's your profit target that we talked about from before. And we literally just, again, here, no cheating. Make sure it's exactly the same. There you go. You can see we literally bounced right off of from where we talked about the profit target was going to be from last week. So, and again, it's doing twice what it's supposed to do, right? It's always double gold. So it's pushed all the way down. Unfortunately, nothing really we can trade with gold and silver today. We'll see how dry heat, humid heat when you're above 120. No thanks. Yeah. When you go outside, I don't care if it's wet or dry. When it feels like an oven, not fun for me. All right, so let's go down and see what the indices had this morning. So you can see, looks like this one is hard because look at this. We went all the way up, and then this is where the weekend gap actually occurred. Typically, we're not trading weekend gaps on the indices. They're a little bit different in that sense because, again, the market is actually truly closed. It pulled back down again. So I would say, the 930 candle is right here. I mean, I guess there's a case that could have been made. You could have said, hey, listen, we got basing right there, right? There's basing. And the 930 candle is here. It drove from 9 to 930. So in reality, in all fairness, I'm going to say that, yeah, this one probably would have been a setup, right? You probably would have said, hey, listen, I'm getting short at 930 this morning. And had you gotten short on this one, you would have gotten stopped out for a small loss. So again, it's not only about not entering. Sometimes you enter and it is bad. And in this case, yeah, it was in a downtrend. It shot straight down. Then at 9 o'clock, it started to rally back up for the open. By rules, you'd have to say, hey, listen, this is really kind of a short setup. And you know what? You would have gotten stopped out. So again, we don't see this often where you would have got into a trade and gotten stopped out. Here you go. So again, no strategy is perfect. Again, anybody that says that it's perfect is lying to you. Again, excellent strategy. And here's one of those losses. Again, very rare we get a loss in there. Stop out that goes right through. But yeah, there you go. And again, it kind of bounced off the top. So yeah. NQ, let's check out NQ. Wow, look at the whips in this one. The 930 candle was here. Don't know. I would have probably put it up here. I would have probably said there's the basing level up top. The problem with going short from there is there's 1, there's 2, right? There's 3, and then there's 4, right? So there's your level of basing, and here's your 9 o'clock candle, and it started to rally up into 930. So the question is, would you have taken this one short after it's been hit really here, and here? Answer is no, right? Again, on the 5th or 6th hit, not really. So again, this would not have been an entry for that one. But again, had we entered short, it wouldn't have mattered. It got stopped out anyway. So again, it's 1 for 2 for entries and 0 for 1 as far as entries go. Okay. So again, did not meet the rules and did not qualify for that one. Looks like this is going to be the strong guy of the day. YM, 845, 9, 915, 930. And understand too, why this is going higher is because this is so bad. Right? This shows us, oh God, more recession, but it also means like, you know what? The data is really, really horrible, guys. We can't raise interest rates, which is great for this. So again, it is kind of news-based, and it did pull right back to that level too. I wouldn't say there's really any basing in here as far as overnights go. Maybe there, but again, 930 is pulling right up to there. Not really. I would say, if anything, all the way up here would probably have been the easiest place to take a base off of it. But again, not really necessarily the freshest of levels, right? Hit it. So yeah, as far as the open goes, I wouldn't say that that's necessarily 130. No, not really. Not really. unfortunately punched through. Now the question is, was this a trap? Actually, let's do it from there. Nah, it wasn't really a trap. Maybe they would have trapped some people, but not too bad. So I would say YM, probably not a candidate either, right? Not really a candidate. I wouldn't say that this is fresh basing. It did spend some time, but it was chopping, and all we did was run right back up again. So I'd say the only one so far is really ES that I would say that, it's entered, and again, it would have failed. This one really not so much, because I mean, it is a level, but it's like, do you take this level? 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 Right? And you're really starting to crank up there. So, not much there. Oh, definitely this one, I would go with a no. Yeah, this was not being an entry. And again, the Russell, you don't really get the setups as much. Now, it does have a basing level. And if you would have said, hey, listen, there's your tested basing level, right? There to there, right? There's your tested base at 830. That's what it would have looked like. Had you taken this as a basing level, and again, the 930 being all the way down here, it's kind of like, I don't know. Had you taken it, let's see. Did it make it? Again, I want to be right on that level. It's 1 to 3.5. 1 to 3 is right there. So you would have gotten out. So in reality, here's your base. There's your testing of the base. Right? There's your testing of the base. This one, and again, this one, fully willing to admit that, again, there's your, and actually, I guess if we're doing a test of the base, it's right there. Right? So again, losing 1 on this one. But again, it's kind of like, tested. It's technically hit number 3. Anyway, had you taken that one, again, we'll count that one as 1 loss. NQ didn't really qualify. Again, it hit way too many times. YM, even if you say YM and you're like, hey, wait a second, there's a confirmation here. Like, listen, let's see. There's no confirmation of that one. There's kind of a confirmation there, although it's hit it twice. Okay, maybe you lost another one there. If you had done the same thing and taken these overly aggressive entries, you would have had 1 loss, 1 no entry. Again, a loss on this one, even though kind of iffy. And then if you'd done the same thing with Russell would have given you a 1 to 3. So you'd be up +1 right now. You would have had a -1, -1, +3. You'd still end up +1 for the day. Okay. Now again, is this a little sketchy? Yeah, but there's your base. There's your testing of the base. There's your touch of the base. There's your 1 to 3 exit, right? And then it almost did it a second time in there. So overall, with the strategy, what? If we were overly aggressive, 3 for 4 in entries, 2 failed, 1 went to full profit target. You still end up +1 for the day, and then 1 was obviously a no entry on there. So not a horrible, not a horrible day either way. Like I said, some of these were sketchy, and understand this is so far out of the range. You kind of had to be very, very careful, saying, hey, listen, if I get a pullback at the open, that's a monstrous number. And again, overall positive for the economy, right? Because again, they're not going to raise interest rates because this is so bad. So take it for what it's worth. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. So 6 people in. Got Ernest, we got Will, we got Neuro. No Sean. Where's Sean? Sean, you're here today. Where the heck is your ticket, Sean? Sean's trying to be nice. It is again, Neuro capped his 3 last week. So again, we are opening back up again, right? It is purely for 25 today. Debbie's not in too. Debbie, what do you... Debbie. Debbie's talking about life is too boring, but she's not even getting in the thrill of getting pip chips for today. See how this works? See how this works? There we go. There's Sean. Come on, Debbie. We're gonna wait for Debbie here a second. Debbie's sleeping at the wheel today. It's Monday. There we go. Debbie's in now. We're ready to go. It's fair, right? It's fair now. Let's close it down. Debbie's in. Let's see who we've got. So 8 people in today. Eki, good seeing you. Briggs, haven't seen you for a while, buddy, but I know you have that strange schedule. So Debbie's like, I did it. Yeah, you just did it now, Debbie. See? Just now. So, all right. Winner of today's drawing is... Oh, crap. I refunded all of them. Whoops, I hit the wrong one. I was supposed to do draw winner. Can I draw the winner now? All tickets have been refunded. All right. I don't know. I hit the wrong button, Neuro, but it doesn't matter. It still lets you guys pick. So basically, it gave you a free drawing and you didn't lose your tickets. So technically, Marina won. But you didn't lose anything, Briggs didn't lose anything, and Ernest didn't lose anything. But technically, Marina won. I don't know if Marina got an extra 10 because I gave that one back, but I think you get one free one. So yeah, I don't know. I just clicked over there. I wasn't paying attention. But anyway, yeah, she won. So let's go over there. Let's give her 25. So it didn't cost anything. So you can say rig, but you should be thanking me, man. You should be thanking me. Whatever it was, it worked for her. Now, Ernest didn't lose today. Technically, there's no losers today because by me accidentally hitting that thing, by me hitting that and getting it refunded, technically, guys, nobody lost anything. So, yeah. Yeah, so nobody's a loser today. You're all winners, right? They're right. No lose at all. Well, I mean, but Neuro, technically, Marina's over there. She's typing me in private messages. She's like, if you didn't win, you lost. So, I mean, technically, you're in her eyes, you all lost today. You all losers. I'm just going to let you know. That's what she just said. She private messaged me and said, if you didn't win, you lost. So, yeah, take that, guys. So, technically, we did. Yeah, you should have bought more. Yep, you did. You missed out on it. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll catch everybody tomorrow morning. Remember, 9:30 tomorrow morning. We will not do I'm not doing the Nadex presentations at noon anymore. I'd much rather do them early in the morning when things make more sense than at noon. So, happy trading for everybody today. Be safe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care. What's the point of we all win? Well, you didn't lose, So, anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.